Nova Scotia, it's a beautiful landscape, known for, and known East Coast, but in lately people are struggling. They're having difficulty meeting ends meet, and it's mainly, because of, housing cost is soaring high. Our healthcare system is strained because of the rapid growth, and, people having can't ability to afford here, having affordability issues where rent is so high. Youth is struggling to get, they want to go out of their house, parents, and, start their life, but they can't afford it. People are getting disengaged, and it is because of, the way the politicians have behaved, or, things done over the time. It's basically turning them off, I think it's very disappointing, and a lot of people are disappointing. I'm hearing on the, the doors here, people don't like it. There was absolutely no need for this election to be called, and unfortunately, our premier is determined that he keep having committed to do the double the population here without having any economics plan in place, without having any infrastructure, without any doctors, without having any schools, which are all strained, maxed out, and we need to make sure all these things is making life difficult for the people, and at the time when they need help, when they're struggling it, he choose to spend more than $30 million on this election, while we could have spent that money to make people's life better.
Today on Community Update, we are joined by Vishal Bhardwaj, a committed advocate and MLA candidate for the Cole Harbour area in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. With over 22 years in Dartmouth, Vishal has built deep ties to the community. With his background in engineering and quality management, he has contributed to several boards, including the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission and the Shubenacadie Canal Commission. As the president of the Nova Multifest Society, he has also played a key role in celebrating Dartmouth's diverse cultural fabric. Vishal, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. As I read about you, and you are everywhere, people know you for your multicultural activities involving community. I heard that you started your studies from Toronto and then you moved here. What made you to settle in Dartmouth and to do this public service for the community?
Well, I moved to Nova Scotia in 2002 after marrying my lovely wife, Shelley. We met in India. We had a long-term relationship, old those days where we call messengers. Yeah, messengers, a lot of online chats, and eventually we decided to marry, and then 2002 I moved here in Canada. I did go to Toronto for post-graduation studying, but I always felt this is my home, and I came back. At the time when people were all going out west here, I felt people were super friendly. It was a beautiful landscape, Nova Scotia, and which basically encouraged me to come back.
Yeah, I'm excited to know about specifically what motivated you towards public service here in Nova Scotia.
Public service, I guess. We come from the same, Punjab here. Service is in our bloods, so it doesn't matter which part you are. Serving community is we see all around growing up here, so it's just a second nature to us here to helping someone whoever in a need here. So I don't think anything special I did it here. It's just in our blood, Punjabi we call it by nature. So
yeah, it's called Sarbat da Pala.
Yes,
helping everyone.
That's exactly.
I'm interested in knowing about your idea behind a multifest. It's a family, and I see everyone around knows about it. I want to know how you started it. What inspired you to begin it, start it?
So when I moved 2002, it wasn't as much population, diversity around here. Especially we have very few people from our home country. We only used to go Gurdwara Sahib, the Hindu temple or church here. So you only get to see people on Sunday. So first 6 months, right after our landing in Canada, I started studying here, taking the courses, and I really didn't have the time to get to see people, and it was always feeling lonely on the back of my mind here. So not like the events are happening now, in those days were actually. Yeah. So when first time I volunteered in 2003 Multicultural Festival, I get to see a lot of people, to get them know. We worked 3 days, me and wife here, just picking up the garbage essentially, and we were the green team. So and we met so many people. So what happened that one here, when even the 3-day events were gone, we only get to remember only so many people's name, but we get to see so many people, to talk to them here. So when I gone back on, Monday, or, anytime I'm going to the superstore or Walmart or Sobeys, your groceries, doing it, you're seeing the familiar faces. And that really gave me the sense of belonging, because I was lost before. I'm not placed, literally feeling that was. So that gave me the sense of belonging, and that was very powerful for me, that what that event made a difference for me. So since then, we continuously volunteer in the green team, or, lost and found, wherever, team felt. We were just, normal volunteer like anyone else in the old multicultural festival, which last, I think, about 37 years, and before it died in 2015 or 2016, they got bankrupt. And then the event didn't happen for a couple of days, a couple of years actually.
Oh.
And I felt that void, there will be a lot of people like me, who will be feeling the same when they're coming in, and they don't have the support, or they're feeling the same loneliness. So then I come together, like-minded people, and we established Nova Multifest, different name. Our goal was to establish at the time, have these multicultural festival right across Nova Scotia. That's why the word was Multifest. It's still the goal. We did support a couple of, multicultural festival. Kentville is success now. When we started, we give them the platform, so they're doing great. We also supported Lunenburg. We used to go and tri-country, multicultural festival in Dartmouth. We used our kids, used to go many years there. So the goal is still there to revive the multicultural festival right across the province, and we're working on that. So that's how I essentially got in the multi-fest.
Fantastic. That's beautiful. Once you feel alone and you realize that pain, and you don't want anyone else to feel it, and
Yeah.
you make that bigger so that everyone feels involved and feels like a family. And that's what you're doing. It is commendable. Absolutely, it is.
you.
And it makes
Thank you.
newcomers, students, everyone feels involved.
Yes.
But I want to know, now you're standing for the people of Cole Harbour specifically. So what is your plan to develop multiculturalism specifically for the people of Cole Harbour, so that they feel involved, they feel developed, they feel committed towards multicultural environment?
I guess our multicultural festival is, I kept in Dartmouth intentionally when it happens. A lot of people wanted me to go in Halifax. I kept in Dartmouth here, and it was always success. And a lot of people in Dartmouth, essentially here, I call the better side here. The Dartmouth side is the better side. So we have a great support. We have, worked with a lot of different associations right across Nova Scotia and Halifax HRM. But for the people of Dartmouth, they love diversity. We have a lot of support, bringing this festival to ground up. It was, main support was from Dartmouth. So I think we are already well connected and well versed in diversity in Dartmouth.
Oh, that's the reason of hosting it in Dartmouth. I got that.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. And you feel where you live, you feel for that area. I understand it. I've been wondering about it, especially when we talk about youngsters, and if we talk about youngsters in Canada, and we see politics, I kind of see it as in physics, they say directly proportional, but they are inversely proportional. Where there is politics, youngsters are far away from it. They want to do party and want to. Obviously, there is a segment of youngsters that is somehow involved in politics and like to give an opinion and participate in it. But my question to you is, as a leader for Cole Harbour, what is your plan? Since this party, Liberal Party of Canada, was started in 1867 to bridge that civic engagement. So what is your plan to revive that electoral votes from youngsters, from the natives of Cole Harbour?
It's not just the voter in Cole Harbour, Dartmouth. As a Liberal Party, our party is of integrity, inclusiveness, and economic growth. That's where the fundamental. I believe in, my party believe in, and my leader believe in, Jack Churchill. In coming to, it's a sad. The voting turnout is year over year is pretty much, most of the time, general trend is decreasing. I mean, it just recently. I guess HRM, we only had about 36%, turnout on the voter turnout, which is not great. I think we are lucky here. We have the opportunity to, the vote, cast the vote. There are a lot of countries around the world here, people dying every day to get that right. So I think it's important that everybody participate in this democratic, like a festival. Yeah, and everybody should come and vote it here and make their voice heard. I think this is one of the goal of our party is principles, values we have. It is that dignity and every voice has the right to be heard.
Do you have any specific plan or specific activities to get youngsters and people involved in it?
So yeah, we have young people in my campaign, and definitely, but especially say around multi-fest when we do it, we encourage a lot of youth opportunities, the volunteerism. We do it to get them involved, to do it. I have participated, in a different diversity. Encouraging, gone with different MLA MPs here where they have, politics classes, then they do it. We do talk to, different, regardless of the political stripe, encourage them to do those talks in different schools here, especially in the high schools, where they're going to the universities here to having those kind of discussions here to encourage what democracy is, how they can make a difference. And I agreed. By part, I think generally, what people are getting disengaged, and it is because of the way the politicians have behaved, or things done over the time, which basically turning them off. We often see people changing the floors, and they're elected by one party, and then somebody probably promised the cabinet position, and then you change the party. So it's basically disrespect to those people who elected you for certain values, for certain reasons, and then you change it here. So of course they will be mad next time, that okay, they don't care why you want to vote.
Definitely, that's insightful. And when we talk about it's kind of instability, if we talk about, we all want stability in our lives in terms of jobs, in terms of our health, in terms of our studies, in terms of our life, and in terms of our elections as well. But recently it has been visible that there is instability. Elections which were supposed to happen at a specific date, but it has changed. What do you think, what kind of impact it has on the people of Nova Scotia, on voters who choose their leaders?
I think it's very disappointing, and a lot of people are disappointing. I'm hearing on the the doors here, people don't like it. There was absolutely no need was this election to be called. Premier, Mr. Tim Houston, that was the first legislation is passed that we'll have a fixed election, and politicians usually in the power get the they basically benefits he claimed at the time. And guess what, he exactly he doing the same thing now. He's calling this election. As Nova Scotia, it's a beautiful landscape, known for as known East Coast, but in lately people are struggling. They're having difficulty meeting ends need, and it's mainly because of housing cost is soaring high. Our healthcare system is strained because of the rapid growth, and people having can't ability to afford here. They're having affordability issues here. Rent is so high. Youth is struggling to get. They want to go out of their house to parents and start their life, but they can't afford it because of just unplanned economic growth is happening here. Immigration generally, as a it helps to growth, for the growth, but it has to be planned. And unfortunately, our premier is stubborn that he keep having committed to do the double the population here without having any economics plan in place, without having any infrastructure, without any doctors, without having any schools, which are all strained, maxed out. And we need to make sure all these things is making life difficult for the people. And at the time when they need help, when they're struggling it, he choose to spend more than $30 million on this election, while we could have spent that money to make people's life better. So yeah, it's going to impact their decision. It's going to disappoint them, and it's going to turn off from voting for sure.
I see, that's insightful and thoughtful and well studied as well. As you mentioned, and I personally get very disturbed when I hear stories like this. We heard a story, there was a woman who went to hospital emergency and she had to wait for like 10 hours. She had a stomach ache and she passed away. Doctors couldn't do it. Long wait times and mental health issues. I feel as much as it is talked about, but on the ground level, what we need an actual action. So what is your plan to make that action possible for the people of Cole Harbour specifically?
You're absolutely right. When Tim Houston came to power here, he said, okay, I'll fix the healthcare. But reality here is, things haven't improved much. The wait times are, for the doctor is gone double since he joined, he's in the power. We are, record high seeing, the emergency that's in the emergency rooms here, wait times are there. People are struggling to get the service when they needed it here. You can't even get appointment these in the walk-in clinic easily, and all our healthcare professionals are strained. They are tired, honestly, when we talk to them, they are tired. And we need more doctors and health staff in every single field, you name it. And the fact of the matter here is every single known progressive indicator is basically gone backward since this government has came up. So we've done tons of spend the money by the government, but it hasn't moved the needle unless you're a friend of Tim Houston. General rest of the Nova Scotians are basically not better off here since last 3 years the Houston government is in power.
Definitely. I see what you mean. What happens is actually in politics and political parties, party A says party B did this, or party B says party A did this. It's a general phenomenon, global phenomenon. It happens everywhere. But I'm interested in knowing, and I think people of Nova Scotia are interested in knowing, what are the action steps for you as a candidate from the Liberal Party, or what is the general idea of Liberal Party to eradicate this problem, long wait times and everything?
That's a good
like
question. You will see our party platform coming in next few days. We're just rolling out the first announcement today, taking HST off from many grocery items. I'm not sure you had the opportunity to see today.
Yeah.
The granola series. There's a lot of affordability issues we're seeing here. Coming back to the healthcare, you're going to see a lot of a detailed plan with the costed plan coming out in the next few days. But you're right here. You will see the plan which will strictly focus on making things better. Premier Houston has spent millions of dollars. It's nice to have an app, but is it going to fix the pain? We just, unfortunately, the family who lost, that woman lost, and the family lost their family member because we couldn't get the care in the time you're in to do it. So app not going to help it. It's good to have it here, but what's the most important is to get the help people needed it here. We're spending another, I heard, collaboration with Google, another $30-60 million. We're spending it here. That's not helping people who are waiting for help at the door. They're not getting a doctor when they need it now. So the focus need to be on the item which really make a difference immediately in people's life here, not on the flashy things here, go in a fancy room here with the 15 different screens, and how many people are waiting. Well, that's nice to know here, but what is doing it to help them? So the help need to start where we needed it. So we need actions here, actionable investments where it makes difference in people's life. And you're going to see very soon here in the announcements coming up the platform as the leader releases it here, some very detailed and focused approach of actions here, which will make a difference in Nova Scotia's life better. And that's why we're saying a better deal for Nova Scotia. Nova Scotian. That's our slogan for the campaign, and it will make a difference in people's life.
When we talk about problems, one common thing that every human being on the planet, well, it doesn't matter whether you are in India, Pakistan, Australia, Canada, Nova Scotia, Toronto, anywhere, we all say we need three things. In Hindi, we say roti, kapda, or makan. We need, basically means food, clothes, and shelter. And when we talk about houses, rent prices, and people are living in shelters on roads in snow and winters, and we can't even imagine how they are living and how people are struggling to meet the ends. So, what is the plan? Do you have any plan or any idea to support these people so that they can grow and think beyond just paying the rents and develop themselves individually?
So again, don't have the liberty to disclose the plans here at this stage of the campaign that just started here 2 days ago. You will see some coming up here. But if you see, from, over the last 3 years, we've been calling on the Premier Houston, having renter control, helping the rentals here, rental protection, the fixed lease is a big problem. I'm just reading another article, report was where, we're seeing here last year, single room, rental prices are gone 10%, over 10%, 10.5%, and the double bedroom are gone around 11%. That's a huge cost, increase here in the rental cost here. Even the Premier has a 5%, say control, limit on the rent increases. But why 5%? Where did he choose from? What's the logic behind? Never explained it here. The reality here is that we used to be the best affordable place in Nova Scotia used to be the best affordable place in Canada, and now we are I was reading the same report, the fifth worst, city here with the highest rent is in the country. So how did we move it here? I think it's because here is Premier Houston's stubbornness here we have a growth of population without having the proper infrastructure planning in place. This, when we have a economic growth plan, we need to work with our partners, federal and, the municipal. They are the significant and the important stakeholders in the growth plans here. But Tim Houston is always looking forward fight with the federal government, looking for ways to do it. And similarly, he's taking consistently, Halifax municipality being the largest municipality in the province, taking way more powers from them rather than helping them. It's just making things difficult.
It's a part of the problem that we are discussing. We are kind of reiterating the problem. At the same time, I think we need some action steps towards resolving.
I assure you, we have a discussion along with my leader on this topic here. We have multiple, not here, series of community, team meetings and, discussions on this topic, town halls on this one happened here. And we have very specific plans coming up which absolutely address the and the actions, like not talk. Premier talk to have a just talk, and our leader has a plan who will absolutely will tell you how we're going to. One of the fundamental, of course, it will be here the the growth, and we want to increase the population, but with having proper infrastructure, having proper all the services around here in a planned way, not you grow the population and then strain everything else, then everybody's in trouble.
Now let's diverge to a different area altogether. It's actually not very different. It's more of like collaboration between different levels of government. I think that is very essential in terms of maintaining partnerships in order to develop the community altogether. So, what do you think? How can you enhance those partnerships in order for the development of the society in general?
I think throughout my life here, my volunteer work and advocacy, work I done here, I always work in collaboration with different stakeholders. Multifacet is one example. I was at Nova Scotia when I was board member for Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission. We had pretty much every one of the rules we set up was every quarterly meeting will do it. It will have a different community right across Nova Scotia and different communities. So we will go talk to the stakeholders, listen them, what they want to say it, and making sure their voice is heard, and then we build the policies here or the procedures which meet their needs here. End of the day, we are here to serve the Nova Scotians, and it's important we listen them and what their challenges are and have a plan which address them here. And I'm again going to say here, Premier Houston, who's made the promise that we will have a fixed election, and he broke it. So how would those people will believe the politicians when they don't live by their words here? So this is why our leader, I think 2 days ago, Jack Churchill announced it. If any party, if he will have the fixed election date, but if any party break the rule, they have to pay $250,000 fine. So that's the commitment, and that's the law. If the premier is making the law and breaking himself here, how will anybody will do it? Imagine. So
Right.
you got to live with the example here, and I strongly believe Zach Churchill has a plan. Believe me, and stay tuned. Please listen it, and it's a plan which will put the pocket money ultimately, put the more money in the pockets of Nova Scotians, and they will have a better deal.
Thank you for sharing that, and definitely I I understand it completely coming from academic background. If teacher is not following the rule, if teacher is not disciplined, how can we ensure that students are gonna study in the classroom? Definitely, I understand it. And Vishal, that's very insightful, this conversation. I like where we are driving towards, and we just talked about health. And when we talk about health, it is not just physical, it is not just you go to hospital and see a doctor. And in today's world, especially in the world of social media, no one is left from depression. Almost everyone gets a phase in their life and when we need them. And what is the plan for the Liberal Party, or specifically from your side, to help in the context of mental health issues? Do you have any plans of like starting a helpline where people can call in and talk, or do you have any plans regarding that?
So mental health is a big issue, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Certain people, language or authors or scholars are saying is a pandemic level. Honestly, here, and it's getting worse day by day. More and more youth, especially, we're seeing these challenges, and not even youth, it is getting to the older population as well, a different age group as well, and there's a multitude of different issues happening. Affordability is just one factor here, where everything getting costlier. And also at the same time, I was just reading recently here, the report came here which gave us basically F grade to Nova Scotians, in the national evaluations here. So it tells, how bad, things are. And as a party, we always, make a priority on mental health and many issues here. We just done a study, especially often study happens, more study happen on the men's body than the woman's body here. There was, I was just had one of the discussion came up. So you're going to see some of the things we're talking about health wise here, how we're going to improve public health. So there's more announcement coming up, and to say that we already have a helpline, in the province for different areas, and 1-800 line. Anybody need help, they should call it here. But there are challenges, if somebody need help, there's a long wait. Even try to get to psychologist here. There's a lot of all around. I said here the services are strained no matter what, and which field you go, and we need to focus to reduce that wait list, get the help people needed it, and then we look into at the same time grow the population in a controlled, planned manner.
Well, Vishal, that's really good to know that you and your party is thinking about this specific thing. And I
Yes.
really liked when you said that not only youngsters or young people suffer from this. Obviously, there is a segment of adults, older people who struggle from this, and it is in itself very insightful that you and your party is thinking about them, and
Yes,
I really
absolutely.
commend that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
One thing that comes to my mind is when we have done so much for the community in general, in a bigger role. For example, like hosting multi-fest and having connection all over the place. Although you did that specifically in Dartmouth and keeping that special place for Dartmouth, for your place. You're representing Cole Harbour in this election. My question to you is, how do you ensure that the character and needs of the people of Cole Harbour are met while keeping in mind the regional objectives as well?
So each riding definitely has its own, needs there. There's no question about that. I tell you here, you talk about, the regional or, local perspective to do it. Just recently, just few years back, Cole Harbour Dartmouth riding is not very old riding here. It was first time election generally happened last time. The boundary review was not too far ago, and I specifically went and when that review was happening, I put the representation, and we supported that we need to make sure the Cole Harbour name is there. So you see that now we have a Cole Harbour riding itself, and this is Cole Harbour Dartmouth riding itself. So it has a long history and a name recognition and culture coming behind, for the name attached to Cole Harbour. Coming from, myself as an immigrant, I know that how important the roots are and keeping the culture and staying connected to it here. So when you talk about Cole Harbour, I'm deeply, deeply involved and understand the value it brings to, we are connected to it. I'm living 22 years in the riding. I have my family's grown up here. Both kids are grown up here, so I fully understand, what the needs of the people are, and what need to keep connected the communities itself.
Definitely, and the most beautiful part about living in Cole Harbour is you can run around and say hello to women, and she's not gonna call cops.
No, we have a great lake, great lakes. Dartmouth is called City of Lakes here, but we also have a lot of, trails, in our community here, and I'm very proud of it.
It is. I have seen Dartmouth, beautiful, and I see the community Cole Harbour. It's beautiful, and the area that you're riding from is again beautiful. And I personally wish you all the best. Yeah, my last question to you is, as an individual, Vishal Bhardwaj, if you see Vishal Bhardwaj, a young guy who came from India, Canada, and now in Nova Scotia for 22 years. You have your own individual experiences as well, along with being associated with the Liberal Party. So combining them both, what are your top 3 priorities that you think, I'm gonna do these 3 things definitely? You don't have to disclose the exact plans, but you can give an overview or general idea of those.
So as a Nova Scotians, we are having a lot of challenges. There is no doubt about that. We have aging population, demographic, challenge coming in, but at the same time, soaring housing costs is the biggest issue here, because that's where the most of the money, your hard-earned income money, goes against here, and that's been increasing constantly, and we need to find a way to increase the more housing stock so that young people can even think about, I meet so many people around here and they're finding difficult here to start a life, and because they can't afford a house here, it's so expensive. Our wages hasn't gone over time to match up, to that, the soaring housing cost here. So I will, advocate some people on my, conscious behalf to make sure we have the housing crisis, we address it here. Healthcare is of course in crisis mode here. We need to find a way to solve those, those issues. And the last, I wouldn't say that here, but very close, again, mental health is a big issue, people don't realize here, loneliness for the senior is growing very fast, and we need to find ways to connect our seniors back to the community. They have experience, they have, the knowledge, and we can use those experience in a much better way.
Fantastic. That's great to know. And as I said, all the best for this, for doing the goodness of for spreading goodness and developing the community as a whole.
Thank you. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Community Update, for having me today, and I want to encourage everyone through this opportunity to please vote on November 26th. Doesn't matter which party candidate you support or vote for, but please get out and vote. It is important that we make our voice heard. And for my constituents in my riding Cole Harbour, Dartmouth, I would love to have your support. Please vote for me on November 26th, and I assure you I will advocate on your behalf. Your priorities will be my priorities, and I'm ready to roll the sleeve and start working on your behalf. Thank you.
It's inspiring to see someone so dedicated to both the cultural and community fabric out of our city. To our viewers, don't forget to stay informed and make your voice heard in the upcoming election. Thanks for tuning in to Community Update, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.